Hey, welcome to BSP TV. I feel like it's a really early morning because of State of Origin last night, but not everyone will. David Letizia from Your Business Optimised. How are you today?
Pretty good, Kevin. Yeah, and we won't talk about the football, mate. That's a bit of a sad ending for the Queenslanders, but good for you. Good for you.
Hey, look, I'm very Brisbane these days, but it is State of Origin after all. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the 4 types of emails that you need to have, and you're going to throw in a bonus one to give us 5.
That's right, mate. Yes.
And today we're going to just really brief overview, but how did you come to be ultimately a communications guy? Because that's really what it is, isn't it?
It is, mate. Yeah, look, I'm an engineer by profession, and one of the things that happens in the techo sort of space is it's interesting to find people who can actually communicate properly. So I just happen to be like I used emails from the day they came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and I thought it was a great medium, and I've stuck with it, mate, and it still works.
Absolutely, yeah. Engineers and communication, not things that you normally have in the same sentence. But let's talk a little bit about, as you mentioned, you've been using emails since they first came out and everything, and you and I are of an age where we can remember a time before email, which is going to shock a few people, because you don't possibly look that old. But apart from that, there's been the prediction of the demise of emails, I reckon, for the last 7 or 8 years.
That's right.
So
and look, it's definitely harder to get an email through to a person who doesn't know you. If you're not already communicating with them, or if they didn't contact you first, there's actually a bit of an art to get your emails out of the spam folder, out of the junk folder, and into the inbox. And then once it's in there, you need to have something compelling and interesting to say to even get that read. So there's a couple of challenges there, mate.
But it's not just about emails, really, is it?
Well, it's about communication everywhere. It's there's so much noise and volume out there, even on social media. Just to cut through and get yourself heard is a real challenge these days.
But these 4 messages, it really isn't about it's an email or it's a letter or it's a message in Messenger or some other thing. It's 4 different types of messages, really, isn't it?
It is, and it's basically taking your prospect on a customer journey. Right from the first time they meet you, to a little bit of interaction, to showing some interest in your products and services, to a sale, and then what happens after you make a sale. It's basically a customer journey.
Fantastic. Very quickly, you've got 4 different types of messages that you need. So what are those types?
Well, I just mentioned a couple of things there. Like, if first initial engagement, you're not trying to sell, you're just trying to build a relationship. And the first thing is you're going to thank the person for actually coming into your network, for instance. And then you're going to try and just nurture and find out if there's a good fit. It may well be that there's no fit, and you can basically refer them to someone else or say goodbye. But it's basically trying to work out, can you help them? Is there something useful that they're going to get out of the interaction? And then you try and make a sale.
Cool. So it's the thank you and the welcome, and then then you move on to the nurture before they're a customer. And then when they're a customer, you're kind of going through the same, yeah?
Pretty much. But it's a different conversation. It's the person actually knows you, they've bought something from you. You're going to have to deliver some really good value and returns for them in exchange for the money that they paid you. So there's definitely an onboarding process. There's some delivery of the service, and basically after you've delivered the service, then you've got a chance to ask for a review and follow-ups and re-engage for the next. What's going to happen next, whether that's another sale from you or some other step that they need to take to get the best value out of that interaction.
Cool. And there's even a bonus 5th one that people quite often do send out that has kind of been historically overused, but there's cool ways that you can do that. What's that one?
Well, it's basically the newsletter or the monthly email. A lot of people, that's all they do, and that's okay if that's what you do. But the key to that is to make it a little bit specific. Don't send the same email to your whole database. If half of them are interested in product A and the other half have come in and said they're interested in product B, don't send them the same email. At least send two, or at least send 3 types. A couple to prospects and a different one to people who've already bought from you. The last thing you want to do is have an offer to someone who's already bought from you, which is better than what they paid. So that's a key one.
Yeah, Melissa was complaining about someone who's got an automated follow-up on their invoices the other day that she'd paid early, and she's still getting, hey, your invoice should have been paid a week ago. As you go, but I paid before. And it's really important to actually have this stuff well tagged and well documented and do it right, because it does improve those customer relationships. Now, you're going to go into a lot more detail about these, about the style and the language that you should be using, and also techniques to get better open rates and that sort of stuff next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to have a formula that we use. Obviously, we're always going to have a call to action in any communication, because hopefully you're doing it for some reason and you want people to respond in some way. And what you just mentioned there, the automation, we'll talk a little bit about that and how important that is. Fantastic.
Look, I look forward, I know this is something that we definitely need to improve on. So I'm going to be there next week with my bells on. Looking forward to it, David. I'll see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. where you're going to go through this in more detail.
Sounds great. Yeah. Looking forward to it, Kevin. Thanks very much.